corporations realized that management by results led to tremendous dissatisfaction on the part of the workers because they felt they were being treated like machines. And that is the first principle, philosophical principle now, that I would like to share with you. Human beings can never be treated like machines. That if you're a manager, you cannot equate a worker with an equipment. And now this is where we are benefited a lot by the social doctrine of the Catholic Church. Those of us who are Christians are very lucky that we are reminded constantly to the social encyclicals that labor is always prior to capital, and that labor cannot be put in the same category as capital, because capital is not human, while labor is human. And therefore labor is more than a factor of production. And somehow in the 1960s, 1970s, people like Peter Drucker started reminding managers, you cannot treat workers like they were just other factors of production, like a pound of meat or a kilo of whatever, that they are a unique factor, and therefore they have to be treated differently. But in the beginning it was just the question of how do you motivate them to use their own initiative so that they're not just taking orders from above. How do you motivate them so that they will contribute their creativity? So they were now considering more the psychological factor of the worker, to give them that human satisfaction, that they're not just being treated like machine, and that they're given leeway to decide what to do, that they start contributing their own creativity and initiative. And so that was the beginning of management by objectives. So certain objectives were set, but they were not told every single thing that they had to do. And that the human beings who were now in an organization had the freedom to choose how they would contribute to a certain objective. And that, of course, led to the flowering of enterprise. In fact, the person who will be beatified on May 1st was the first philosopher and, of course, theologian to contribute to the list of human rights. And thanks to him, we now have the right of freedom of economic initiative among the human rights that the United Nations declared in 1947. If you take a look at the list of the United Nations, freedom to life, freedom to free speech, and so on and so forth, there was no freedom of economic initiative. Thanks to the late John Paul II, who will now be considered blessed on May 1st, there is now the right of economic initiative, or freedom of economic initiative, which is the very foundation of a market economy. That human beings must be allowed to exercise their freedom of economic initiative. And that is a human right, and if you respect that, you will have a very progressive economy. But that's not our topic. I'm just, I just wanted to remind you that there's so many principles you will find in the social encyclicals that will help managers to be better managers. No?